let's start at the beginning. When did you know that you wanted to do comedy for your profession?
God, I guess after college.
Okay.
But I became funny in junior high.
Did you feel yourself become funny?
Definitely. It was a very strategic evolution for just self-defense.
How did your career get to this awesome level that it is at today?
Oh, so much has happened. I did a lot of stand-up, started hosting my own shows and performing all around town. I think being a self-starter was good for me. I mean, I hate to be a person waiting for someone to tap me on the shoulder, so I was always someone who would create my own show, and whether it was a stand-up show or whether it was a web series, I made some web series and got like Jonathan Winters to do it, and did festivals. I was always into like creating my own projects, and that's something that is even easier now, I think, for young comedians. There's so many different outlets now. Just keep making stuff. Like, I think just being passive is the hardest thing because you're waiting for someone to spot you, and it's easier to write your own stuff. And I always had this philosophy of just like go wherever the energy is. So don't try to bang down the door of some comedy show that doesn't want me. The one person who likes me, who runs a show, just do their show every week. You know, that was always my philosophy. But you have to kind of do what's organic to you. You know, some people just throw everything at the wall and do every single show they can. I was more like, I'll be selective and go where I feel wanted, and just try to like grow a positive energy that's already there.
If you were sitting down with an aspiring comedian, what's the number one piece of advice you would give them?
I mean, the cliched advice that all comedians are going to give aspiring comedians is just get on stage as much as possible. And it's like no one wants to hear it because you want to hear, actually, if you go through this doorway, you're a star.
Yes.
But the thing is like it's really hard to find your voice in stand-up, and it takes years to kind of like get as comfortable as you are with your friends and get to that part of yourself that's not really guarded and, you know, trying too hard and stuff. So I think it's just, you know, get up as much as you can, I think.
All right.
But also, like, just don't try to be too tough. I think that's the problem with a lot of stand-ups.
They don't want to get vulnerable, or?
Yeah, like, I know a lot of guys that if you're talking to them, they'll say something really sweet or vulnerable or kind of funny, or, like, whimsical or, you know, whatever, but on stage they get into this, like, this is how life is, and blah, 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 and it's like, I think it's a protective thing, and I used to do that myself, like in New York a lot more, and I think it's like a protective thing, like, because it is so vulnerable to get in front of a room of people. So it's like putting on your little armor, you know. That's why I was saying there should be a comedy club called Men Shouting Opinions.
Here are my key takeaways on achieving success from my interview with Chelsea Peretti. Number 1, be a self-starter. She said that the key to her success was that she wasn't waiting around to be discovered. She created her own stand-up shows, her own web series, which is great because any of us can do that. Create your own material and create your own opportunities. Number 2, practice, practice, practice. She said she knows you don't want to hear it, but her advice to aspiring entertainers is the same advice that everyone gives aspiring entertainers, which is to get up there. She said it's hard to find your voice and you really need the experience. However, she added something interesting, which is number 3, get vulnerable. She said that she thinks one of the biggest problems for aspiring comedians and even some established comedians is that they don't want to let their guard down, which I thought was great advice for anyone who creates. If you're putting your work out into the world, it's very tempting to put a wall up, but don't do it because you have to find your true voice, which usually involves getting vulnerable. And lastly, when you're out there practicing, number 4, go where the energy is. I thought this was really interesting. She said instead of trying to get as much exposure as she could and doing every single show, she would just focus her energy where she already had a good thing going. I think this is awesome and very applicable in today's social media, digital media world where a new channel pops up every day, or new this or new that. Do you have a Periscope? Do you have a blog? Are you on Twitter? Are you doing all these things? Maybe instead of adding, just focus where you already have some good energy going and reinvest there. For more inspiration and motivation and articles and videos on success, go to success.com, and to see my full hilarious interview with Chelsea Peretti, Go to thepursuit.tv.